Twitter has just announced that they will suspend accounts that share gory images, including the beheading of American journalist James Foley by ISIS militants. Now, some people are arguing that this is not a good idea, that this type of censorship actually goes against what we believe in as a country and also goes against what we need in order to collect information and data on these militants. But they're also suspending accounts of particular ISIS members, and that could also be a problem when it comes to collecting intelligence. So that's basically the gist of the story, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, because when you think about Foley's family, do you want them to be confronted with these types of images on a regular basis? But at the same time, Twitter has now become a source of news for a lot of people. That's where people go to get the type of news that they're not getting in the mainstream media. So to have this type of censorship could be a slippery slope. And also, I think that if militants want to be transparent in their actions, allow them to be transparent so we can actually keep an eye on them.
I was somewhat split on the story too. Foley's death really affected me. I can't imagine the courage it takes to go into the middle of Syria during that civil war. And he had this great quote that I found today on a different story. Foley did. He said about Syria and why he'd gone in. He said, "It's a story we need to cover, and if we don't go in, who will? If we don't give the people in there a voice, no one will." Jeez. Right? So this guy is just an absolute hero for risking his life to get the information that we need. And so I'm going to say that I think Twitter is doing the wrong thing. Yeah. Now, because of course I didn't watch the video. I was so disturbed by it. And we watch every video, and we've seen the kids get killed. We've seen everything here, right? But I didn't want to see that. And I get it. I know what happened. I don't want to see it, right? So my gut reaction is, yeah, don't show that stuff, right? But once you fight past your gut reaction, if I'm Foley's family, I want that out there because it's going to give us at least some clue, some small hope that you can find the guys who did it, right? You know, and look, sometimes the CIA is good at stuff, right? And they could piece together, oh, well, we know where that is because of something that you see in the background that's noticeable that might stand out to them, not necessarily to the average person. Or they might recognize, or an informant or someone that they flipped might recognize one of the guys in the video. So gather the information. You know, it's disturbing that this exists on the planet, but it does. And brushing it under the rug and pretending as if it didn't exist isn't going to make the situation any better. And I don't think that's what Twitter's intentions are. I think that they're coming from a good place. And of course, as a business, as a company, they have the ability to, you know, enforce any types of rules and regulations that they have. But they already had something to prevent accounts that incite violence or spread violent propaganda or make direct threats, right? So I'm totally in favor of suspending accounts that make direct threats. But if you have the profile of an ISIS leader or an ISIS militant, allow them to share that information on Twitter, because we need to know, we need to collect that information. Pretending as if they don't exist doesn't make the situation any better. And Twitter's a tool. It's, you know, so you can't blame Twitter for what people are doing, and taking the evidence of that, the images of that away doesn't make it any less real. And there is some irony here, because Foley spent his life trying to get us more information, right? And a lot of that information coming out of the Syrian war was gruesome, but it still informed us, and it helped us to know what was happening and the plight of the Syrians that he was covering, right? So in this case, it's the plight of Foley, but it still, in its own horrible way, informs us. So I would not take down the accounts, certainly, because I think the accounts could actually give intelligence agents valuable information. Yes, I agree.